Do you live in California or another state and you've been thinking about moving to Oregon? Well, I've got some tips for you. One of the most requested things that my clients ask me for is more space, a bigger lot size, even acreage. So I'm going to talk to you about some tips on how to buy this type of property that does not have city services like water and sewer. Hi, this is Nora Spangler, and I'm with Rogue Real Estate here in beautiful Central Oregon in the city of Bend. If you're new to my channel, would you give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful and informative, and click that link below, hit that subscribe button, and you'll get notified each week when I post a new video. So many people are moving from California to Oregon, and when they arrive here and they ask me to help them find a property, sometimes they're quite surprised that even homes within the city of Bend, sometimes they're not actually on the city sewer and water services. And you're going to have to deal with a septic tank, possibly a well. And if you're outside the city limits and you want some acreage, a little bit of land, maybe have some cute little goats or chickens, well, you might actually buy a property that has irrigation. So those are the three things that I'm going to give you some tips for on how to be knowledgeable and understand what that means when you're buying a property that have these three elements. So let's talk about septic systems. Probably not your favorite topic, but I'm just going to briefly touch on a few tips for you. So there's basically a few different types of systems. The most common one is just a standard septic system. It's going to involve some kind of tank and a drain field or leach field. And if it's a standard type system, it's going to be the easiest to maintain and the least expensive. Other types of systems are called capping fill, sand filter, ATT, which stands for alternate treatment technologies. So those systems might be more expensive to install and maintain over time, but here's the reason why you might have to deal with those. The county actually is the entity that gives you a septic permit, and they are the ones that are going to determine through inspecting your property, the land, the slope, the size of the home. All those things are factors in what type of system you are allowed to have on that property. If you're thinking you might be moving to Bend, go ahead and click the link below in the description box and grab a copy of my relocation guide. It's totally free for you. There's a link down below that is for the EPA government website for Oregon, and it gives you tons of information about septic systems. Now, you might wonder what happens when you want to write an offer on a property with a septic system. So the seller of the property will have the system pumped, so the tank gets pumped and everything gets inspected, all the working parts and the drain field get inspected, and then they will provide that report to you as the buyer. If there's repairs that need to be done, the seller would need to do those, especially if you have a loan, because the lender can't lend on a property that does not have a functioning septic system. What if the property you want to buy doesn't have city water? There's a well on the property. It's similar to the septic system situation. Try and say that 3 times fast. You write in the contract that the seller has to have the well inspected, and they have tests done on the water quality, and they will submit the report to you, and you can review it and either accept it or not accept it. Now, there's one more thing that might be part of a purchase of a more rural type property, and that is irrigation. If you have land and you're going to have animals, maybe you want to grow hay, then you're going to need irrigation. So if you're buying a property that has irrigation, there's a few things to be aware of. The first one is equipment. There's going to be some hardware, some equipment that comes along with this. There are systems that more like sprinklers where they pop up out of the ground. There are also, if you've seen driving around rural areas, those big wheels rolling across the acres of land, watering crops. That's another type of system. So you want to know if all that hardware is going to be part of the purchase. The other thing to be aware of with irrigation is you want to know where's the water coming from, who's the supplier, and how does it get to your property, and when. So there is a season for irrigation. In our area, it's generally from about April through September or October. In the winter, you're not going to be irrigating anything. So I hope this information was helpful to you. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week.